Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. Welcome to Numeralytics. I am your host, Queen Bee, and I want to welcome all of the new subscribers to the channel. Thank you so much for subscribing to our channel. Make sure you go back and look at some of our old videos that we have up. We have some stuff up on Michael Jackson and different celebrities, Kendrick Lamar, the Drake beef. So make sure you go check out our other videos on the channel. This is Numeralytics Energy Observation Update. We haven't done one of these in a while, so we're bringing this back. And what I wanted to do this month is something a little different, personal month energy, and looking at what universal month we're entering and what personal month we're entering. Because we know at Numeralytics here, I love to look at the upcycle, and I call that the upcycle, the universal personal cycle. And that's our cycle. That's the energy that we encounter every 24 hours. That cycle changes every week, that cycle changes every month, every day, every year. So we want to know what cycle we're in. And I am going to provide that for you tonight because I'm going to be bringing you the personal year factor, something that will help you easily determine what cycle you're in. So I hope you guys are ready for that. Let me get the slides up on the screen. And again, I want to thank you all for subscribing to the channel. If you're just finding me and you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video with someone who may need to hear this energy and this message. Okay, give me one moment. Let's bring this up on the screen. All right, so this is our May Upcycle Forecast, you guys. So again, we're going to be talking about personal year factor. And you can reach me at numeralytics.biz, or you can text me on the moon line at 302-492-7722. Okay, let's get started. So this is our agenda. Again, we're going to be talking about the May personal energy. Let me get up here next to it. That's a little small. Let me make myself like this. Hold on. There we go. So we're going to be talking about the May universal month, which is it's a universal month number 5. We're going to be talking about the personal year factor. We're going to be talking about the universal personal month cycle forecast to let you know what's in store for you this month based on your personal year factor. And then we're going to be obviously talking about balancing energy and looking at the cycles that we're going to be going through this month. Okay, let's get to the next slide. All right, so when we look at this, we're going to start off looking at the word May itself. So obviously we know there's 3 letters in the word May. And what's so interesting is there's 3 letters in the word May, and in the Pythagorean system, it adds up to a 12/3. When we look at a number 12, that's the symbol of a hanged man. That's mental suffering and anxiety of mind, the victim or sacrifice for the plans or intrigues of others. So what that tells me is with that adding up to that 12, those are the things we need to look out for. Also with that 3, don't be too overextensive with yourself. Threes tend to have over excess and emotional extremes. So you want to keep that in check. No gossiping, not too much gossiping this month. It's going to be getting warm. So you just want to really get into your own groove and get yourself ready for the new season that we're embarking on. And being optimistic and being cheerful and self-expressive, it's going to be popular because it's going to be warm. So that number 3 denotes that it's going to be a popular month, very communicative, social networking this month of May. So just stay on the top side of that 3 and be careful and don't become the victim or sacrifice for the intrigue of others. Again, no over excess and emotional extremes this month. And then when we look at the mystic system of numerology, and Chaldean, May adds up to a 6. So we know with the 6, that tells us that's going to be dealing with home, family, duty to responsibility, making adjustments, maybe making home improvements. So all of that kind of stuff comes along with that 6 energy. So these are the types of things that we may encounter in the energy of the month of May. So let's get into what the universal month is, since this is what we're talking about. It's the upcycle forecast on a Numeralytics energy observation update. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. So in order to get the universal month, you have to get the universal year first. So in order to do that, when you get the universal year, what you do is you add up the year. So we're in 2025. So we know 2 plus 2 plus 5 is 9. And we know we're in a 9 universal year. The way you get the personal month now is you take the month position of what you're looking for. So we're looking at the month of May. We know May is the fifth month. So we're going to take that five and we're going to add it to the nine. And that's going to give us the universal month energy for May. So the universal month energy for May is a 14.5. So 14 is a number of movement, a combination of people. You're going to be dealing with money, business, speculation. So there's always a little element of risk and danger with that number 14 from the natural forces. Also, sexual attraction is something that 14 also denotes and brings. So this is interesting that this is a 14.5 month. Also, when we look at it, May, the period of May, which is really for Gemini mostly, is ruled by the period of the five. So this is like double five energy all around. And what that tells us, what element are we working in? We're working in the air element. So the air rules this universal month, you guys. This is an end cycle. And what that means is the physical cycle. So the end cycles just simply mean it's a physical cycle. And the things that you encounter this cycle are the things that you're meant to encounter and you're meant to use them immediately. And it just means that things will probably come to you and flow more freely this cycle in that five energy. So that's very interesting to note. Let's get the slides back up here. Yeah, that's the stage. There we go. All right. So again, so you're remember where air element is ruling the whole universal month and it's an end cycle. So that tells me there's going to be a lot of mental thought. Let's keep in mind that five is the fundamental sex number. So there's going to be a lot of attraction from the opposite sex this month. Again, a lot of speculation, a lot of moving around, and different things like that. So let's get the slides back up here and we'll get into more of the energy. Okay, so for the five universal month, as you can see, it's going to be a month of dramatic changes. And this is going to be for more reasons than one. So, really, it's going to be dramatic changes because that's what the five energy brings. Five universal months, it's dramatic changes. You're going to be presented with a multitude of opportunities that are very multifaceted. There's going to be opportunities for travel. You're going to really value your freedom more this month. You're going to want to move around. You're not going to want to be clocked this month. So it's going to be having a lot of movement, fun, popularity. Again, that sexual attraction. There's going to be uptick in your communications, public dealings, any type of speculation, gambling, anything like that. Try your luck. And what you want to look out for the month with a five universal month is to be over excessive. So again, that warning goes back to when we were talking about that 12-3, because 3 and 5 kind of have similar energy that way. They're opposition numbers and they have that similar energy where there's a could be an over excess of feelings, of emotions, of overthinking, of anything. So you do not want to be over excessive in sex, drugs, alcohol, partying, thinking, or eating, or anything that you're doing. You always want to keep your head on the swivel because again, remember that May adds up to that 12, which warns of mental suffering. So we want to make sure that we're living on the top side this May and understanding this energy that we're about to enter. Okay, so let's look at a little closer at the month of May. So we're going to look at the universal weeks now because out of each month, again, just like how we have universal year, universal month, universal day, there's also universal weeks. So the way this works, when we first enter May, we'll be entering into a six universal week. So from May 1st to about May 7th, that's going to be a time to be really dealing with your home. You may be looking around your home for whatever improvements you might want to make in it. You might be looking at a course during that first week or doing something where you're going to make some improvements with yourself, but you're going to have a duty to responsibility and there might be some adjustments that you have to make in that first week of May. So be prepared for that. And then when we get into the second week, which is from May 8th to the May 15th, we're going to be entering the seven universal week. So that's going to be an introspective week, maybe a little quiet that second week of May, the quiet before the storm, before the end of the month when we get to the holiday. So it's going to be some time to be introspective, just reflect on what you're doing, manifest. That's the number of the law of attraction. So make sure you have positive thoughts during that second week of May. And then as we enter into the third week of May, that's going to be an eight universal week. and that's going to be from May 16th through May 21st. Now, the beauty about this is being a 5 universal month is already a good month career wise, being recognized and having different new opportunities come to you in your career. And this third week of May is going to double down on that with that number 8, because that's also a career cycle. So this might be a great week. You might get recognized this week. You might receive an award, or there might be some positive changes or some dramatic changes in your career this weekend for the better. And then as we enter the last week of May, that's May 22nd through right through to the end of the month. That's going to be a 9 universal week. And this is going to be interesting because we're leaving it off with a 9 universal week. The nine, I always like to say, stay on the top side of your numbers, the positive side of your numbers. So just have patience that last week in May. It's going to be holiday time. So you're going to really need to have patience and really understand that people are moving around. There's going to be a lot of movement. So where other folks may not have patience, with you having the knowledge of the energy that we're in, make sure that you exercise patience this month, especially in that last week of May leading up to the holiday, because that's going to be paramount to make sure that you stay safe and there aren't any of those dangers from the elemental forces. We know Pluto has entered Aquarius, but in on May 4th, it goes retrograde. So this is going to be interesting and some interesting energy to look at. And we're going to take a look at what some of the other things that went on when the last time Pluto was retrograde. So let me bring the slides back up on the screen. All right. So Pluto and Aquarius is going to go, it's in Aquarius right now. We know that we entered Aquarius, is going to be there for the next 20 years or so, and it goes retrograde on May 4th. So what's so interesting about that is May 4th is going to be a 9 universal day. So that's going to be in that 6 universal week on a 9 universal day. That calls for adjustments and balance. And often with that 6, if things did not get balanced and adjusted for the proper way, it could lead to war, it could lead to an upheaval, or an agreement that can't be agreed on. So then there's a clash that happens. So this is interesting energy, guys, to look out for. So for May 4th, and that's going to be a 9 universal day, which could mean conflict, confrontation, hasty temper, different things like that. 9 rules guns, fire, explosions, sharp objects, when it could denote war. Not that I'm saying that, but that this is the energy that we're entering in. So the best thing to do for yourself is, again, remain patient, understand the energy that we're going through, and that Pluto going retrograde is really, and it's actually on that 4th. So the 4 is ruled by Uranus. So this is very interesting, the number that this is going retrograde in. And also when it comes out of retrograde, it comes out of retrograde on October 13th, which also the 13 adds up to a 4 day. So I think it's very interesting that it's in Aquarius. This is all of the 4 energy that it's bringing. So I think that's pretty cool. So let's take a look here and get back to the slide. So again, that's a 5-4. Like I said, it's a 9 universal day. The conflict and confrontation are possible. And we know that the last time that Pluto went retrograde in Aquarius, a lot of transformation happened. It was a lot of evolution, revolution, major shifts in power. And often with this energy, guys, when Pluto goes retrograde in this sign, those that are abusing their power, it's going to bring them to their knees. So I expect to see a lot of people who are abusing their power that are in the forefront. They may be coming into some opposition with this planet going retrograde on a 9 universal day. So this is all very interesting energy to look out for. And then the last time, like we'll get into the rest of the slide, 1777 through 1798, through that time frame. And around that time frame, the American Revolution happened, the French Revolution, the Industrial Revolution occurred, and also the Haitian Revolution started in 1791, leading up to 1804 when Haiti gained their independence in 1804. So very interesting energy that we have coming up here. And again, this is the time that you should be getting in tune with your spirit, getting in tune with your creative side, your creative genius. It's a great time for mass communication. So just make sure you're honoring that energy and looking at that in that way. So let's bring the slides back up and we're going to get through this. So now This is the great part, guys. Let's talk about the personal year factor. And what the personal year factor is, it's a cycle that determines your personal year, month, and week and day energy. So all this is a factor. It's a factor. It's a Numeralytics special. It's something that I did come up with. So you just want to always know what your factor is and keep that in mind. Your factor also can give you clues and how to move through your cycle and different warnings, maybe perhaps on what to watch out for in your cycle. So these are the types of things that we look at when you come to Numeralytics. So if you're interested in getting your personal year factor, actually going to show you how to do it so you can get it yourself. But if you're interested in getting a reading about what that factor means for you and the different energies that you should embody throughout your cycle with the type of factor you have, make sure you reach out to us at numeralytics.biz, or you can hit me up at, let me see, I don't even have my banner up here. Hold on, let me see. I think I have one in here, or you can hit me up here, numeralytics.biz. Also, you can get some merch at besmartclothing.com. And I'm on YouTube, IG, and TikTok, all at Numeralytics. So make sure you guys hit me up. Of course, on the moon line at 302-492-7722 if you want to get a keys chart reading and get your personal year factor and start understanding what your energy is. Okay, so let's add this back to the stage and we're going to talk about the personal year factor now. So, how do you get a personal year factor? Okay, this is how you get a personal year factor. All it is your month of birth and your day of birth. Okay, you want to add those two together, and whatever those two add up to, that base number is your personal year factor. And this number is the number that you will be in lockstep with the universe throughout your life, throughout all of your cycles. It never changes. And that's why we can call it a factor because it never changes. And that's the beauty of science. That's why we know this is a metaphysical science, because it's observations and hypotheses that are proven and over time. Again, the patterns don't change. So that's why we can have a personal year factor. So let's get back into what that really means for you guys. So what you want to do, let's get some examples. I'll take myself first. I'm born on August 20th. So my month is 8. My day is 20. When I add that together, that's 28. That means I am a personal year factor 1. Now 28 is going to be my guides and my guidance on how I need to move through my cycle and the things that I need to be paying attention to, warned about, or just things that I need to know for different good energies that you need to tap into. So it's all about having a knowledge of the frequency and the meaning of those double compound numbers so you can make sure you are getting through your cycle effortlessly. All right, so let's have another example. So just in case people don't get it. So the next birthday I'll do is February 28th. So when you add 2 for the month of February plus 28 for the day, that gives you a number 30. So that personal year factor is a 3. So this person is always 3 cycles ahead of the universal cycle. Me, the first person, I'm always 1 year ahead of the universal cycle. So right now I'm in a 1 personal year. The person who's born 228 is in a 3 personal year this year. All right, let's get one more example. 920. So that's the month is 9. The day is 20. Those together add to a 29, which reduces to a master number 11. And we'll reduce that to the 2 for the personal year factor's sake. Okay. But again, the 29 and 11 are both readings that I will provide for you in the background to let you know what to look out for along your cycle and what can help you and what can hurt you. All right. So this person is always 2 cycles ahead of the universal cycle. Okay. So I hope you guys got that. And I will let's see. Let's go to the next slide. So now that we have determined how to get your personal year factor, now we're going to do the personal year factor upcycle reading for the month of May. So you can only be a personal year factor 1 through 9. There's only 9 numbers. So we're going to do 1 through 9, and we're going to do 1 through 9 what personal month you're in, And then that is going to give you some insight on your energy, your tide, and how and what you need to be doing, and how and what you need to be, how you need to be moving in order to get through your cycle. Okay. So the first thing we're going to look at is the personal year factor one. Now, keep in mind with the universal month, we're all in a 5 universal month. So all of us universally are in the end tide. Okay. Everyone's speculating and being communicative and dealing with the public and being a little popular and getting sexual attractions from the opposite sex and moving around a lot of freedom, traveling, career outlook. So that's the energy for all of us, like we already talked about. Now we're going to go through 1 through 9 personal year factor. Okay. So let me go through 1 through 9. Okay. If you're a personal year factor one, okay, that means that you're going to be in a 6 personal month. So your upcycle is a 5 universal month with a 6 personal month. That upcycle never changes for a personal year factor one. Every time there's a 5 universal energy, you are in a 6 universal energy. So again, that is the beauty of this personal year factor because it allows you to pre look at your cycles, understand the relationship between the cycles that you are in every day of your life. This is priceless information. So you want to make sure that you're taking your notes and figuring out what personal year factor you are. So let's go through the chart a little bit. Personal year factor one, again, you're in a 6 personal month. The tide is in for the universe, but as far as for a personal month, the tide is out. Six is an out month. Anything that comes to you in the 6 month, it may not be for immediate use. You're going to be looking to be in harmony in your home this month. You're going to be dealing with responsibility, balancing some things out, perhaps making some adjustments. There may be some uptick in your interest in the arts. You might go see a show or a musical or something like that. Anything dealing with beauty or the aesthetic this month is really what you'll be doing in your 6 personal month. Okay. And now, if you're a personal year factor two, that means if your month and day of birth add up to a number that reduces to a number two, you are a 2 personal year factor. So people who are a 2 personal year factor are in a in cycle with the universal month. Okay, we're all in. Remember, five is an in cycle. It's the air element, and I didn't tell you the last one's element. So the personal year factor ones, you're all going through a 6 personal month. The tide is out, and you're dealing with air and earth. Okay. So a lot of grounding energy that you may be dealing with here. And so you want to make sure you're paying attention to that also, because you're going to be dealing with, you got air and earth. Those are kind of contraindications because with air, it likes to move around and be free. With earth, it's stable, doesn't like to move so freely. It's solid, it's stable. So those are the types of things that you need to look at. These are the energies that you're going to be in. Okay. And then let's get back to the personal year factor two. So with the personal year factor two, again, that is going to be in a 7 personal month. With that 7 personal month, that's an introspective month. It's silent. You want to have patience. You want to have good positive thoughts because seven is the number of the law of attraction. So whatever you're thinking about is going to come to you this month. This is a self examination month. This is a reflect and perfect month. Do some mental analysis and you want to wait. Anything that you get that comes to you this month, it's not going to be for immediate use. Trust me. You might want to use it immediately, but in a 7, it's not for immediate use. And you will learn that through the energy and throughout the energy won't feel right for you to use it. So again, this is also a travel cycle for you, perhaps somewhere far over land or sea this month. So these are the types of things. It's not a very social cycle. You may want to limit those social outings that the 5 universal month are ruling. For you, while everyone's out being social, for you, personal year factor 2, you may not feel like doing that because you're going to be in that 7 personal month. So that's very interesting, and you want to make sure that you take heed of that. So while the world is in, you're going to be way out, and that's okay because all of us have our different cycles and we have our different times where we're best. Okay. And again, this cycle is going to be dominated again by air, we know, and then by water with that 7. So very introspective. Don't stay stuck in your feelings and don't stay stuck in your head and don't stay stuck worrying about things that you can't affect in that 7 personal month. All right. So getting moving right along. If you're a personal year factor 3, that means you're going to be in the 8 personal month. And congratulations, you made it to your 8 personal month. I love the 8 personal energy. It's bounce back energy. You just went through 2 out cycles. You went through a 6 out, you went through a 7 way out. Now you're in an 8 and you can reap the rewards of what you've been dealing with this year. The things that the work that you've been putting in this year, you're going to get it back out this month. And this 8 personal month. It's a month of power to be fearless, make good judgment on the material. Don't be over excessive with the material. It's a constructive and expansive month, material freedom. Avoid having a lack of vision this month. You want to do it big. It's your bounce back month. It's a power month. It's a harvest month. So you want to center in on things. Don't be reckless and don't abuse your power. And again, this is a career cycle. So, like I talked about with that 8 universal week, if you're in an 8 universal month, also paired with that 5, I'm sorry, if you're in an 8 personal month paired with that 5 universal month, so you're in a 5-8 up cycle. This is a career house for you. You should do very well in your career during this cycle. So make sure you hone in on that energy. And again, this cycle is going to be dominated by air and earth. Okay. So a little bit of an oxymoron, but it can work at the same time when you balance and put your mind to what you want to do. All right. So moving right along. The next one's going to be obviously be personal year factor number 4. If the month and day of your birth adds up to a number 4, you're going to be in a 9 personal month. So while the world is in with their 5 and their party time and all of that, you're going to be on the cusp this month. It's a month of endings for you. It's a 9 personal month. So it may be time for you to look at some of the relationships that you've been in, the business ventures, or anything different like that. Anything that you're dealing with, it may be time to end it or transform it and bring it to the higher level, bring it to humanitarian universal level. That can also denote that energy for 9. Also, it is the number of manifestations. So, whatever you've been working on throughout the previous months, you're entering this 9 personal month. Hopefully, you're manifesting that work and you're getting that back out. This is a very favorable elemental energy. It's an air fire combination. So, it is a time where you can get a lot of work done. You can get some things done, but not if you're being over excessive and extremists in your emotions. Don't be on emotional extremes, especially with that 9 and that 5. So that can definitely denote that. So you want to make sure that you're living on the top side of that right there. All right, so let's get into the next number. Personal year factor 5. If your month and day adds up to a number that adds up to a 5. So you're going to be in the end cycle. It's a favorable elemental cycle. It's air and fire. So a lot of mental thought, mental action, and proactive passion to get those thoughts done. Willful, forceful, directive actions to get that work out. Okay. Also, 5, the career cycle. 1 is also a career cycle. Both numbers are both travel cycles. So you could be traveling for work this cycle. Personal year factor number 5 in a 5-1 cycle. And this is favorable for you. You have to take heed of this because every time there's a universal month of a 5 or universal energy of a 5, you're in a universal energy of a 1. So you should always be looking at that time frame and looking at that cycle for when you can hone in on the things that you want to do with your career or with travel or anything like that. So, all right, let's move on. Personal year factor number 6. If you're personal year factor number 6, then you are entering 11 month. That's going to be spiritual downloads, expression of ideals, religious or spiritual insights. You might have a more connected feeling to your mission or purpose this month. You might be like on a higher thought. You could be launching inventions. 11 is also a number of psychology and the general welfare of people and social betterment. So, light the way for the people this month. You're going to be dealing with fire and water. So, that's very emotional and passionate energy. So, have at it. Everything that you get this month, you're meant to use it immediately. And it's a special month because 11 personal months don't come by that often. So, you want to take advantage of that energy when you have it. Okay. If your personal year factor number 7, that means you're entering a 3 personal month. Okay. So that's an in cycle. It's air and fire. So that's very favorable. But there is a warning with this cycle. No over excess. Keep your keep everything in check. Keep everything in moderation. Don't be over expressive. Be expressive enough. Be creative enough. Be popular enough. But recharge yourself when you need to recharge yourself in this cycle, because that's a lot of energy that's being used. It's a lot of passionate, proactive, moving energy. You want to make sure that you rest and hydrate in that cycle. So that's for you guys that are personal year factor number 7. You are entering a 3 personal month with a 5 universal month. That's a 5-3 upcycle. Okay. So make sure you take heed of that. All right, so moving right along to the 8 personal year factor. Okay, so if your personal year factor 8, you are going into a 5-4 upcycle. Okay, so you're 5 universal month, 4 personal month. That's an in and an out cycle. So you have competing energies here. While the world is in, you're not going to feel so in. It's going to require you to work hard this month and just put the work in, because the work that you put in this month, you're going to be reaping that reward following month when you enter your 5 universal month. And make sure you get a schedule for yourself, get some boundaries. So that way, when you enter into that next month, you are organized and you have a schedule about what you need to do. Again, this is also going to be a air elemental energy. This is intensified mental activity. So I'm going to need everyone not that's in this personal year factor number 8. Do not overthink this month. Stay out of your head. Just stay out of your head. Try to be more proactive. Try to journal, write those things down. Don't think them and keep them bottled up and repressed in you, because 4 can also denote mental health cycle. 5 also can denote mental breakdowns from over excess of mental activity, over worrying, and overthinking. So this is critical for personal year factor number 8. Make sure you're paying attention to that energy. And when you need to, make sure you ground yourself and get some of the other elements in your energy so you can balance that air out. All right. And then last but not least, personal year factor number 9. And again, we know number 9 is the cosmic transformationist. So when it's a personal year factor number 9, it's all energy being backed by the universe. So we're going to be having air energy. That's a 5 universal month. That's a 5 personal month. So that's a 5-5 upcycle with that 9 personal year factor. That 9 just loving itself and giving everything back to itself like it loves to do. So universal and so brotherly, that 9. So, again, this is an air cycle. It's an in cycle. So just don't be too excessive. Again, that's the warning label for the month of May. No over excess. Do everything in moderation and keep your priorities ahead of you. No picking parties over your priorities. So just make sure you keep your priorities ahead of you, and you can still party and have fun, because the month is definitely going to bring that energy. So make sure that you are just in tune with all of that. So I hope that you guys have understood the personal year factor. And if you have any questions about the personal year factor, you can put the questions in the chat below. You can also text me on the moon line at 302-492-7722, and I'll be happy to answer 1 or 2 questions for you about it. But again, to get your personal year factor, it's simply the month and day of your birth. Okay, we'll just go back to this slide so you guys can see. Oops, let me take the banner down. So it's your month and your day of birth. So born on 8/20, 8 plus 20 is 28. And when that's reduced, it's a 1. So this is how you get your personal year factor. Okay. Again, we have gone over the personal year factors for this month of May, and giving you an idea of the personal month that you're about to embark on, and really work to incorporate the other elements to balance your energy, especially when you're dealing with like the air and the earth and the air and the air. Those are going to be the two elements that you definitely want to bring some water energy into, or bring some fire energy into, to get you proactive and to get you active. We want to get you active and moving and out of that head, because this month can bring that energy for those specific personal year factors that are going to be in that air element. So that would be, let me see, what was that? The personal year factor 4. No, it was the 8 and the 9. Yep. So the personal year factor 8 and 9, those are going to be air elements. So make sure you are balancing your energy for those. And I think that's it. I want to thank everyone for tuning into this Numeralytics energy observation. I want to again thank all of the brand new subscribers that have just subscribed to Numeralytics. I'm super excited to have you here. So kings and queens, up to you. Buckle up. You're in for a ride. We're going to be decoding different historical figures, different things that are going on in current events. And then each month we're going to be looking at a different energy and what the different energies of the different months are bringing. I will see you next month for June. Until then, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video, make sure you share, and make sure you check out Numbers Matter podcast. We're going to be coming back with some very exhilarating episodes, and we're going to have some guests on also that I'm excited to bring your way. So thank you so much. If you didn't catch me, make sure you go catch me on Big E Astrology. We did some great breakdowns that night. So you can catch me on his channel over there. And I want to say peace and love, kings and queens, up to the Universal Supreme. And I wish you a great month of May. Peace.